Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to May. There aren't any words for how quickly this year is going. Blink and it's gone. Madness. Madness. But actually, we would like some sunshine, please. It's 1st of May now, and spring is definitely hiding. We're well on the way to summer, let alone spring. Good morning, Heather. Boss, that makes me laugh. Yeah. Like you could be told what to do. Good evening, Sephora. YouTube just kicked in. Oh, does it take a little bit longer? I will remember that. Good morning, Amanda. Good morning. Good morning. Lots of people there already, I can see. It tells me numbers, even if you're lurking. Good morning, Diane. Good morning, Emma. It's May. It doesn't feel warm enough to be May, but it's May. Good morning, little Miss Nemo. Welcome to May Beltane kind of chat. I apologise to the lovelies over on the other side of the hemisphere. Hopefully you will gain something from it. We're going to kind of expand and work on the energies of the month, really, rather than anything specific. Good morning, Karen. Good morning, Dee. Good morning, Charlie. Good morning, Jay. Good morning, Steve. Sephora, yes, Sawain there. Cat's been looking at the ceiling and the corners a lot. They do that, cats, don't they? They do pick up on stuff. So Sawain, blessings to you, Sephora. My birthday's on Sawain. Does that mean I get 2 cakes? Can I have one for the Northern Hemisphere Sawain in October, and then I get another one today? I like that idea. I'm going to run with that one. Good morning, Damien. Good morning, Karen. Yes, happy 12th birthday to the Kitchen Witch Common School. Yes, 1st of May. 12 years ago, we opened their doors. Good morning, Kerry. Sunny Clonelly. Good. I'm glad you've got some sunshine. I think we have got a bit of a blue sky out there today. Good morning, Trudy. Good morning, Kat. Diane. 2 things happened this morning. Remember, it's Wednesday and I'm up in time. It's a good day. Yes, let's set that tone, shall we? It's a good day today. Definitely. Good morning, Jalala. Good morning, Angela. Back to reality. Wet, cold and dreary France from sunny Bulgaria. I will try and send some sunshine across because we have got some sun today. Good morning, Tawny. Sephora, do you guys have Anzac Day over there? No, I am very, very aware of Anzac Day, and it should be celebrated. But no, we don't really. I do make Anzac cookies in honor because they're delicious. But no, not really something that's celebrated over here. Little Miss Nemo, happy Beltane or Sawain. Who else wants to sing Padstow but ends up actually singing Ring Out Solstice Bells? Love that song. Love that song. Good morning, Jane. Back from lovely Scotland to grey Chadwell Heath. It'll brighten up. It's got to brighten up. It's May now. Karen, our dog has been looking and barking at nothing we can see, but she can. Yeah, animals are very, very perceptive to it all. Good morning, Monique. I'm just watching all the things going up here. Little Miss Nemo, nice and freshly clean from annual bath, ready for Beltane. Sephora can highly recommend Anzac slice biscuits ×10. I have made Anzac cookies. We'll have a look at that. Yeah, they are delicious. Lots of goodies in them. Karen, the rain stayed away last night long enough for me to have a fire. Excellent, because that's what this is all about. Beltane is a big old fire festival. Okay, so I'm being prompted by the techie fairy downstairs. Kitchen Witch Ritual for Creativity on Saturday. This coming Saturday, 4th of May, 7 p.m. BST. Facebook are being a bit funny about streaming live to groups. So going forward, our rituals will be streamed live to the Kitchen Witch YouTube channel, to my author Facebook page, and to the Kitchen Witch Emporium Facebook page. So if you're not on the Emporium Facebook page, do go and have a look, because it's their new online shop that's going to be launched in the next couple of weeks. But it's a page, so we can stream to it. You'll find us. But that's this Saturday, creativity. We're making mandalas, so that should be good. Emma has a miserable day in Bedfordshire. We'll send you some sunshine, Emma. Send you over. Go on, sunshine. Well, no, I'd like to keep some of it, but we'll send you a bit. Yesterday was lovely and warm. It was very nice. Very nice. Today, we're hopeful. Sephora, we have had the most stunning autumnal weather today, so we might be nicking a bit from you guys. Yeah, that's where it's gone. Little Miss Nemo, heavy day today. Chat, Beltane observant, last quarter moon ritual for homework. Clearly I have to pace myself. Yeah, I've got to be on time today, because I'm recording another podcast straight after the chat this morning. Actually recording a podcast with a very lovely chap from Australia. So time zone things make my head explode again. Jalala, in France on 1st of May, it's traditional to give friends and family a bunch of lily of the valley for luck and abundance. Nice. Good morning, Julie. Good morning, Tony. Little Miss Nemo, keep missing the live broadcasts of rituals. Really hoping to catch this one. It's fun. We have a laugh, obviously, but we always do a crafting thing as well. So have a look and see, and you can follow along with us. Good morning, Karen. So it is May. So 1st of May, it is Beltane. If you want to share your thoughts on the energies of Beltane and May and a cup of tea, thank you very much. My voice is going already. I've only got 2 hours to go.
Yeah, but at least you're not called the techie fairy. Fairy?
Troll?
The techie fairy's on strike.
Goblin? Troll?
Hunk.
Okay, the techie hunk. There we go. Oh dear, that's me in trouble. Yes, Beltane. It's all about energy. It's all about fire. It's all about the whole animal kingdom doing the nudie prod game thing. That's what the energy is all about. It is a celebration of life, of energy, of passion. It is fertility. It is about union, of all things. Fertility, but remember, not necessarily pitter-patter of tiny feet, because let's not even go there. Unless they're furry ones. 4-legged ones would be good. But you can birth anything. You can birth a business, a job, a new way of thinking, new way of living. It's one of the reasons why we launched the Kitchen Witch School on the 1st of May, because it's really good for birthing things. It is that kind of passion, energy, creativity kind of thing going on. Not just on Beltane, but throughout the whole of May. But Beltane is a fire festival. It's energy, it's passion. That's what it's all about. Heather, Pete needs spandex and wings. Funny enough, he has both. Seriously, he has both. Let's not even go there either. Oh, it's going to be a long day. Right. Sephora, 29 years ago, I produced a 9-pound, 9-ounce baby boy. That's a healthy old weight. 2 weeks early. Wow. Born on his English great-grandmother's birthday. Always think of him as a Beltane baby. Fabulous. Fairies do come in all shapes and sizes, including rock drummers. There are photos of him. Fancy dress as a Marmite fairy. But probably the less said about that, the better. Yeah, he does own spandex. He was, on the stage in the 80s in spandex. Let's carry on, shall we? Anyway, Jane, Beltane, animals. That explains why everyone's cats are assembling at our cafe. Yeah, it is. It is. Karen got up at silly o'clock this morning to walk barefoot on the dewy grass. There is a tradition. I've got some traditions noted down here, and one of those is all about dew. So this is from the Witch for Every Season book. Lots of things. So a long-held tradition is to rise before dawn on May the 1st and wash your face with the ground's dew. This would help you keep a good complexion. If you were unmarried, it was suggested the first man you met after washing your face in the dew would become your husband. There you go. Folklore is fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. There are pictures of the Marmite Fairy. If you have a look on my personal Facebook page, it's going to kill me for this. In the Mafia photos, there are pictures of it. Yeah. Let's. Oh dear. Set the tone for today. Good morning, Anne. Let's get this up. Let's get back to being sensible, she says. Heather, Beltane energy, lightness, fun, and a little bit wild. That probably summed up the last 5 minutes. Yeah, anyway. Good morning. Let's bring some sense back to this. Good morning, Vintage Witchcrafts. Good morning, Jackie and Steve. Before, there were some dreadful stories about Marmite jars in the 90s down under, so I'm not sure I'll be announcing being a Marmite fairy in New Zealand. The Marmite jars are brilliant for working magic because they are cauldron shaped. Not only are they cauldron shaped, but they are dark. So they are very, very good for using in place of a cauldron. They're really good to use for spell working, for witches' jars. Very magical, very magical. Now, some of you might have heard the term Walpurgis night. There's a few videos been zipping about. Last night or yesterday was April 30th, obviously, and it was Walpurgis night. Germanic tradition, and I am going to read this because my head doesn't retain this kind of information. It's a pagan rite of spring, basically, a Germanic one. However, Walpurga was a Christian saint. We go there a lot, don't we? She was an English abbess who was canonized on May the 1st. Saint Walpurga was a patron to 7 cities and protected them against all kinds of things, including witchcraft, famine, plague, and storms. She was born in 1710 in the county of Dorset in England, so not too far from me. Her father was Richard of Wessex, and at the tender age of 11, she was sent to the Wimborne Abbey in Dorset. She lived at the abbey for 26 years, and in 748, she left England to travel to Germany to help her uncle, Saint Boniface, and carry out missionary work. Eventually, she ran her own group of nuns in Germany. Now, I found a few random references when I was doing some research on Walpurga in reference to being worshipped as a goddess. Perhaps this was an occasion where Christianity overshadowed the ancient goddess and claimed it as a saint celebration. Maybe they just shared the same name. Not sure. Anyway, Walpurgis Night was a celebration of all kinds of excess. So definitely tying in with the Beltane energy. It was noise, it was drinking, partying. I would imagine there was quite a lot of natural special mushrooms and things partaken of. It was a festival to mark the end of a long, dark winter, basically, and then welcoming in the spring. So that was last night. But, you know, the energy is still there. It's still carrying on, and it kind of ties in with Beltane energy as well. You might like to celebrate by, you know, having a wild party. Who am I to judge? I'm not going to. Little Miss Nemo collected dew last year from my figs leaves, which aren't as grown this year, so they're not so big, but it was such a tiny amount it evaporated. Yeah, water does that. Jane, you can't wash your face in the dew here, more likely to be plastered in Moggy's calling cards. Yeah, do be careful if you're collecting the dew. Karen, I was up at dawn before dawn, washing my face in the dew as my granny taught me this morning, and then I did a ritual. I left cream on the step for the fairies to eat last night as they rode past. It is traditionally Beltane is connected to the fairy world as well. The veil between the worlds is supposedly thinner. But good on you for being up before dawn. Let's keep the idea of spandex and things out. Anyway, saints, maybe we should let the overlap happen and call it interfaith. Well, it does. And I do work with the Sabbats. I think the Wheel of the Year is a really good structure, but it is a modern idea. It draws on some ancient celebrations, but the Wheel of the Year with the 8 Sabbats on it is a modern idea. And it doesn't necessarily translate to the seasons, depending on where you live. The seasons changing every year. So I think it's a good structure to work from, but I think it's more important to connect with the energy, the weather, the seasons in the area that you live in. And I also find it fascinating to work with folklore, to work with ancient traditions, old traditions, even newer traditions, really, that bring an energy to the area that you live in, which is why I always look at folk traditions and folk celebrations, like Walpurgis Night. There are lots, and you will find them if you do a bit of searching for your own local area, but I think it helps you connect with the energy. And there are lots, and May has loads, actually. So another one that I've got is Oak Apple Day for May. It's an old celebratory day to commemorate King Charles II being restored to the throne. After escaping from the Roundheads, after the Battle of Worcester, he hid in an oak tree. It was apparently near Wolverhampton in England. May 29th marks his restoration day, and it became known as Oak Apple Day. The Puritans had banned any pagan festivities, such as those of May Day, boo, so it was a celebration. Oak leaves and oak apples were worn on lapels. Churches and homes were decorated with oak. So that's quite a nice one because it's got a bit of tradition with it. It also celebrates the return of pagan traditions after them being banned. And it brings in the oak, which is such a magical tree anyway. Bit of folk magic. We like a bit of folk magic. Karen celebrated last night with a glass or two of mead. Very nice. We'll be making some sort of cake with honey later. Even nicer. Even nicer. Good morning, Jenny. Bit foggy and drizzly in Leicester. Let's hope the sunshine comes in. Yeah, washing your face in the dew. It's quite an old tradition. Emma, no, it doesn't feel like it's getting any warmer. It's still cold. Zephora. Oh, wrong one. Get that. Interesting, the veil is thin, both northern and southern. It is twice a year, supposedly thinner. It'll be at Beltane and at Samhain. So doesn't matter what hemisphere you're in, those 2 times a year, the veil between us and the other worlds, the fairy worlds, spirit worlds, is supposedly thinner. But I kind of think if you're working with those energies anyway, if you're used to traveling to the other world, then you're going to be dealing with it on a regular basis anyway. So it doesn't matter whether the veil is there or not, really. Yes, the weather has gone back to being generally bleh. Yeah, it has. Sephora, are your oaks greening up now? Ours are fiery red at the moment. Actually, my trees, I don't have an oak tree in the garden because my garden's way too small for an oak tree. I do have an elder, and she's got lots of green leafy buds on, given to me by the lovely Heather. So I've got an elder. We've got, what else we've got? All sorts of things, actually. Willow is doing really well. The willow is covered in green leaves. The acers are all out. It's happening. It's happening. Little Miss Nemo, my little oak saplings still under a foot have got their shiny baby leaves on. They look like tiny parasols. Bless them. Bless them. Let's throw another folk one in here. May birches. In the northwestern and midland areas of England, the May birches would travel around on the eve of May. distributing branches from various trees to people's houses. Which type of tree you got would reflect whether the birches thought highly of you or not. Hawthorn was the most prized, and of course it is the time of year for the hawthorn, as that was a compliment to you. Other types of tree, however, were not so polite. So I'm not quite sure which ones were an insult, but there you go. But I love the energy and hawthorn being quite special at this time of the year. But I love the messages, the fact that trees had meanings and still do, obviously. Karen says it was warmer at 6:30 when the sun was shining than it is now. It's gone freezing. Yeah. Jane, doesn't matter how thick or thin the veil is, we just need to find the little cracks and portals, and the spirit's just as keen to find us. I think that's it. If you are used to working with the other world, then it doesn't really matter how thin or thick it is. Charlie, going on a first date today. Haven't done this in a long time. He was unwell and had to rearrange. It ended up being today, Beltane. I think the goddess had plans. Sounds good to me, Charlie. Enjoy. Absolutely enjoy. Yeah, perfect day for it. Perfect day. And actually, perfect time of year. Beltane is all about the sacred marriage. I'm not jumping the gun here. I'm not saying anything, but, you know, Beltane has a reputation for being the time of sacred marriage. It's when the goddess and the god, female and the male, come together to do what they do. I think for me, it's the idea of union. It's not just about male and female coming together in the animal world, because they do at this time of the year. I think it's about man, woman, humans, and the land coming together in union as well. And I think that's quite important. But I think that the energy of May carries that with it. I think perhaps, well, I know that the idea of it being male and female coming together is very outdated, obviously. But I think it is union of all sorts, union of anybody, everybody, whatever. But it is the coming together. But it is about us coming together with the land as well, connecting with the energies of the lands. Balance, but then I think balance is very much how you see it. It doesn't have to be equals. Balance is just how it works for you. But yeah, union is definitely, I think, a key word for May for this time of the year. Jane, you're right when you say hawthorn is powerful, has the power to do me up like a kipper. Yeah, I am struggling with hay fever today. That's why the voice is going. Yes, the girls and I went on a walk a couple of weeks back, actually, along the seafront. And the hawthorn was just flowering then, just starting to flower. Some sides of the pathway where the sun was had flowers on the hawthorn. Other sides, it was still buds. But yeah, pollen is kicking in today, definitely. Good morning, Lani. Karen, the smell of the hawthorn blossom this morning was really strong. It is beautiful, and it is a symbol, isn't it? It's a sign of May, of Beltane. Karen, we watched The Wicker Man again last night. A classic, absolute classic, yes. Yes, the union of fertilization, it's a long word for this morning, is not necessarily a sexual one. No, not at all, but can be seen as metaphorical, figurative, symbolic. Yes, absolutely. Jenny, my grandma used to call young leaves and shoots of hawthorn bread and cheese because they're edible. Yes, they are. That's quite an old one, bread and cheese. I'm jumping about today. My mouse is being a bit temperamental. The energies of the land is currently grumpy and wanting to know what's happened to the sun. Yes. Yeah. Good morning, Sam. Off to Butser on Saturday. Yes, they always have a fantastic Beltane celebration. Jenny, no, they don't taste like bread and cheese. No, they taste like leaves. Let's be honest. Yeah. Good morning, Louise. Yeah, I think it's all about union, but it is fire. It is a fire festival, and I think it is an important part of Beltane. There are ancient texts that refer to a combination of 9 woods being used to make a Beltane fire. That's the wood, that's the trees coming in again. So I think it's a very important part of this festival. The types of wood vary, perhaps what was available in the area at the time. The wood would be collected in March, left to dry, so it was ready for use for the Beltane fires. The Beltane fires were originally used to cleanse and protect cattle. The cattle would be driven between 2 bonfires on Beltane to cleanse, to get rid of any disease, and to look for a prosperous year ahead, really. People would also jump the fire to bring about protection against disease or to get rid of bad luck. Ashes from the Beltane fire would be scattered on the ground to help crops with fertility and growth. I have a jar of Beltane ashes in my cupboard that I use quite often for adding to spells, adding to spell pouches and witch bottles and things, because it brings a real fire element energy, but it has got that growth and that fertility, passion kind of energy to it. Diane, hawthorn is great for the health of the heart. Didn't know that. Tend to work more with the magical properties rather than the medicinal, because that's a bit scary getting into that. Lani, ordered some ribbons and beads to do some Beltane and May fun things along with my witchy bullet. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Charlie, picked a blessing of the Beltane Dew in my fairy deck last night. Well, they're obviously playing. Didn't get up early enough, but I have welcomed and given gratitude for this blessing. Seeing nature blossoming is so magical. I mean, I live on the edge of a city, and actually I was driving my son back from college yesterday afternoon, and we're driving down one of the main roads into the town, and he said, "Oh, it's quite pretty for a city, isn't it?" That's for an 18-year-old teenage boy. And it is, because lining the street are all cherry blossom trees. Of course, they're all in full blossom now, and it looks really pretty. Hawthorn sauce. I like the sound of hawthorn sauce. Yeah, give that a try, definitely. Zephora, guessing that from days past when people had their livestock living below them over the winter, everyone was well ready for opening the windows and letting the fresh air in. Yes. Yeah, when you've been holed up all winter with your animals in the same wooden hut, yeah, you'd want a bit of fresh air, wouldn't you? Definitely. Miss Nemo, feel a bit remiss I didn't do a thing last night for Beltane Eve. Neither did I. We've got so much going on at the moment. I met with Ness and Heather on Monday, and the ideas and the energy that's going on behind the scenes is enormous. So yeah, life is a bit chaotic and twirly at the minute. So it's absolutely no problem if you didn't do anything last night. You can do something today. You can do something for the next few days. You can do something for the whole of May, working with the energy of May. But if all you do is just step outside and appreciate nature, the fresh blossom, the new leaves that are growing, just make that connection, even if it's just for a moment. That's all you need to do. All you need to do. Damien, you can make a May cross charm for protection with hawthorn. Crossed pieces of hawthorn, tie it with red thread. Perfect. Perfect. Jackie, even though we herbalists use hawthorn medicinally for the heart, it carries an energetic quality to be useful in magical working with heart energy, from love through to grief and anything between. Thank you for that. Perfect. And I think the fire, we are bringing in the fire energy for it. You can work with it in all sorts of forms, even if you just light a candle. If you can do a fire, if you've got a chimney or a fire pit, brilliant. Don't forget to save the ashes, because they're brilliant for magical workings. But just, a candle flame. If you want to do the whole jumping over the fire, to bring in fertility, growth, creativity. Don't have to have fire. You can do it with a candle. Just be very careful. And you don't have to jump. You can step carefully over the candle. Just be very careful with it. The other thing that you might see at this time of the year is the hobby horse. And it does feature in some May tradition celebrations. And I've seen quite a few videos of the fabulous dancers out and about. Yesterday, this morning, doing what they should be doing on May. Yeah, doing the dance, doing the energy dance. But some of those will feature a hobby horse. It is quite a fearsome creature if you think about it. I had a hobby horse as a child, but actually it is quite a gruesome thing. But the hobby horse rides out on May Day to welcome the sun, fertility again, the warmer months. Often it's a hobby horse costume worn by a man, often draped in black fabric with a wooden horse head or some other thing on top of it, and the jaws open and close. So it is quite gruesome. The hobby horse makes its way through the village. At points, the hobby horse falls to the ground, exhausted. He's then revived by a friend. Sometimes along the route, the hobby horse will capture a fair maiden within his fabric. The tradition is that the hobby horse dances about with his cloak thing on, captures a maiden. When she re-emerges from under the cloth, she has soot on her face. Sometimes the hobby horse has soot and he will rub it onto passers-by. And this is all about good luck and fortune. I think it's probably got a connection to the chimney sweep, because the chimney sweep was always said to be good luck. If you got soot from the chimney sweep, it was always said to be good luck. So I think that's where the connection is. That, but quite a gruesome sight rather than the probably sparkly, fluffy hobby horse I had as a kid. Lots of fabulous traditions from May. I think it's one of the months that's got the most folk magic to it. Well, let's go back and do these. And we did a fire jump, drumming, and then an amazing meditation. Perfect. Sam went for a long motorbike ride, I saw, and ended up down the seafront as the tide was coming in. South Sea seafront, my favourite place. Little Miss Nemo, I think your behind the scenes meetings are an indication of the season's energy. You may not have done anything, but things are definitely being prepared for. Oh, we've done lots. We have done lots. Yeah, we've been doing lots for a few weeks now, actually. Yeah, there's a lot going on, but yeah, it probably is fueled by the energy of the season. Sephora, it's very interesting when you remove the commercial side of Halloween and just have Samhain, how similar it sounds to what you're doing traditionally in Beltane. I think that, yeah, all of the Sabbats have their energies, and the ones I think that are opposite each other do have their similarities for sure. Jackie, connected with nature yesterday, spreading manure and planting potatoes. Planting potatoes. Finally, signs of germination of lettuce. It's been wet and cold, but it's warming up at last. Yes, Pete had been sprinkling some seeds the other week around the garden for Love in a Mist. And we noticed yesterday little tiny seedlings have just emerged. Jane, I'll be picking sweet woodruff today to make a Beltane punch called Maybole. Very traditional, very traditional. It's given me the idea to use woodruff and hawthorn as ingredients for a mojo bag. Really need some fire energy at the moment to help me deal with some family stuff that's going on. Perfect time of the year to make the magical bag as well. And yeah, excellent ingredients to go in it. Little Miss Nemo, for years I've wanted to visit Padstow for the May Day procession and hobby horse. Hubby's job and daughter's school don't accommodate it. Yeah, that's normal life getting in the way, isn't it? Yorkshire to Cornwall's quite a long way, yeah. Diane, is it related to the Murray Cluid? I don't know. It looks very similar. It does look very similar. I don't know if there's a connection. I'll see if we can find out. I'm sure Mara Starling would know that answer to that one. I don't know. It looks very similar. Emma, sometimes May in general feels like busy energy, like everyone's up to something, whether it be work, studies, or fun. It just feels busy to me. This whole year's felt busy to me, Emma. But yes, I know what you mean. Do know what you mean. Do know what you mean. Soot, coal, first fitting, chimney sweep, all good luck indeed. Sephora, I think the next time the hand delivers a beverage, it should be done draped in a good cloak or dazzling gauntlet. It's time to jazz it up. Do not encourage him. It'd be like finger bobs. Be a different character each time. Don't encourage him. Karen, Murray Cluid is usually, yes, it is, isn't it, around the winter solstice time? But it's a very similar look to it. So whether there's a connection or not, I don't know. Karen, most of my vegetable seedlings got wiped out by slugs and snails. Yes, we had a lot of bedding plant seeds, sunflowers and cosmos and all sorts. The slugs and snails in the greenhouse ate the lot. Yeah, not a successful seedling year. Little Miss Nemo, don't get on well with high summer as I'm very much an autumn girl. Me too. But I'm fine with early summer because of the growing energy. You can definitely feel it. May is also, yes, time of exams. Our teenage boy has got his exams in the next few weeks. Yeah, stressful. I think it's more stressful for me, actually. Now, someone mentioned the Wicker Man. So festivals at this time of the year do often include the burning of a straw man, which is rather rude if you think about it. But they are an amazing experience if you get to go to one. Wishes are written on slips of paper that are then tucked into the straw. As dusk falls, the straw effigy is set alight. The wishes obviously burn with the straw, and as they burn, they are released to be fulfilled. It is really done as a kind of offering to the earth. The burning of the straw man is the kind of offering to the earth for a good growing season ahead, for fertility, for plants, produce, whatever it is you're growing, abundance of produce of all sorts. Some believe that before the straw man, the sacrifices may have been less straw, more human. I'm just putting that out there. Whilst I love folk traditions, I'm not going to go back that far unless someone really annoys me. If you can't get to one of the events, and there are a few of them around, you can make a little tiny one yourself. Weave together straw or twigs or even twine to create a little human puppet shape. Write your petitions, slip the paper inside or just tuck it in, and then burn it on your fire pit or even in your cauldron if you make a tiny one. It is about an offering to the land for growth and for abundance. Jackie, have you watched Stealing Sheep? Apparition that has some horse thing going about the village and Morris dancers. I have not. I love that this is the time of year for Morris dancers. They are one of my favourite things to watch. I think Morris dancing is definitely a tradition that we need to keep going. I think it's fascinating. Stop with the dressed up hand because he will. And then I'll never hear the end of it. Sam, I'm struggling with beginnings, feelings of the season because I'm in the last stretch of uni with the last assignment due in June. Keep feeling that life is on pause until then. I absolutely understand why. But once it's done, what an achievement. Hang in there. Hang in there. Finger bobs. Yoffie lifts a finger and a mouse is there. Puts his hands together and the seagull takes the air. I loved finger bobs. I did love finger bobs. Good morning, Leslie. Zephora, interesting as ash is potassium, which is great for feeding and producing flowers. Yes, we use it on the garden. So there is some logic to burning stuff. Yes, I wonder whether, an offering as in burning the straw man, but probably because the ash was good for the ground. We put it on the garden, ash and bone we put on the garden, and blood. Not, in a bucket bought from the garden centre. Not in any other form. Diane, learning how to make straw skeps on Sunday. Brilliant. I love that we keep these old traditions alive. It's brilliant. Damien made a mini maypole in a plant pot. Well, of course, that is the time of year for maypoles as well. I just happen to have some information on it. So you will often see maypoles on village greens, May Day fairs. Little do they know, because most of the May Day processions, festivals, celebrations, they are linked to the church these days, but obviously it is older. The maypole being the tall wooden pole with the ribbons tied to the top. Young girls used to dance around the maypole whilst holding the ribbons so that they twisted around the centre pole. The original meaning was one of fertility, to celebrate growth and productivity of the vegetation around us. The young girls were maidens waiting for suitors. Others suggest that both boys and girls danced around the maypole with the imagery representative of the world tree. When both boys and girls dance the maypole, it symbolises the weaving together of the energies. So we've got the balance of the male and the female again, but also incorporating nature and the cycle of life, which is what it's all about. Dancers circling the pole, weaving the ribbons under each other, literally so that everything, all the energies are being woven together. But it is, symbolic of fertility. Some of the poles were painted red with white stripes, or the ribbons were a mixture of red and white. And you will quite often see red and white within, linked to maypoles. Red symbolising the blood of a woman, and white represented by the man's donation to the productivity. Ribbons themselves represented protection, and they are symbolic of weaving the threads of life, weaving together the web of weird, as they say. There's also an English tradition for men to wear new linen shirts on May Day. The young ladies would sew coloured ribbons onto the shirts. The men would then collect valuable items from local farmers in the form of spoons, watches, things like that. These would be attached to a garland and strung onto a long pole. A shiny tankard would be set on top. The young men would gather and then dance through the village with the decorated pole. This has been linked to the beginnings of Morris dancing. Yeah, see, there's lots of folk stuff. It's all fascinating. I'm all for Morris dancing. It's all good. But the maypole, it is very symbolic of May Day. It is very symbolic of the energies of fertility, of union again. You can make your own little one. We've done it with straws and ribbons and bits of bamboo cane and ribbons. Quite straightforward to make if you want to make yourself a little one. Little Miss Nemo, reburning on escape to the chateau. The Strawbridge family adopted the French Christmas custom of writing to Père Noël, then burning the letters to send the wish to the North Pole. My children always used to leave their letters to Santa in the fireplace. It's all connected. The Dark Morris, Louise, yes, Morris dancers. The Dark Morris always makes me think of Terry Pratchett. He nailed so many things about folk traditions and customs. Yeah. Heather, puppet or image as a sentient being, brain buzzing with possibilities. Don't start. We've got enough things as it is. No, stop it, googly-eyed hand. Don't. If my craft supplies go missing, I know where they're going. Little Miss Nemo. Up here, Morris dancing is alive and well. Thankfully, women's groups, steampunk groups, lots of dancing. It's great to see and hear. Yes, we've got quite a few down here as well. So it is lovely to see. I think it is fantastic tradition. Finger bobs were brilliant. Yeah. Jane, Morris dancing, sticks and budgie bells, and Morrising off to the pub. There is definitely a strong pub connection with Morris dancing, isn't there? Lake Jeffrey Smith on garden as well. Talking about blood, fish and bone. Yeah, that's what we put on Air Garden. We put blood, fish and bone on Air Garden. Charlie went to the Fantasy Forest Festival. They had a ceremony and burned a straw effigy. Is that the right word? Yes, it was powerful. You could feel this potent energy in the air. Yes, effigy, because it's representative of human. Emma, we don't have a village small town green. Neither do we. Closest we have is the local large park. Yeah, we don't have one either, Emma. Charlie, love Morris dancers. Even as a teenager, my friends would lose me and find me watching the Morris dancers. Yeah, I do. Folk traditions, so important to keep them going. Jane, I went to a convent school, but we had a maypole every year and the sixth formers did a May Day demo. We weren't taught the real meaning. No, I bet. Emma, no maypoles, no nothing around here. Very boring. Do some research, Emma, on folk traditions in your area. I bet you'll find something. It might be that they don't necessarily celebrate in the form now than they used to. But, you know, England, Britain has so much folk tradition. Do a little bit of research, see what you can find. There will be something. Miss Nemo, red and white poles. Why are Barbara's poles red and white? There can't be a connection. I wondered about that. And I think, I think the red is blood. And maybe the white is because they always used to keep something for the weekend, didn't they? Wasn't that what men went to barbers for? Little something for the weekend, sir. Maybe there is a connection there. I don't know, but maybe there is. Jalala, part of my work, I make 3D assets for a video game of sorts. Seems appropriate today. I have to animate some parts. Good luck with that, Jalala. Charlie, do the churches not notice the maple resembling something white ribbon, or do they pretend they don't? I don't have the answer to that. I think it is. Is it perhaps something that's been done for so long that the original meaning gets lost? I don't know. Miss Nemo, just introduced my little girl to Terry Pratchett with the TV adaptations on YouTube. She loved soul music and Weird Sisters. It was fun to spot death. I must admit, I'm not a big fan of the TV adaptations other than Going Postal. I love Going Postal. I think that's my favourite one. But any introduction to Pratchett is good. Sam. It was bad enough Maygret telling me about maypoles and what's behind them, said Granny. She added wistfully, I used to enjoy looking at a maypole of a spring morning. Terry Pratchett. Nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. Jane, nothing like that celebrated in Chadwell Heath. Demographic here is too far removed. It's a shame, isn't it? It is a shame. We need to revive them, don't we? We need to revive them. So another one I found, beating the bounds. An English tradition that goes back centuries. It was always carried out in May. It was a reminder that boundaries of all kinds are important in our lives, whether physical or emotional. Groups of villagers would literally walk the boundaries of the local green or the common or their village. Children would carry sticks from willow trees and beat the boundary markers. Trees again. Willow, one of my favourite trees, actually. And boundaries is always important anyway. Just simple little things that bring in the energy for the year. It's brilliant. It is brilliant. Nita, my father was a barber and the pole was red and white for a reason. Barbers used to pull teeth too. There you go. It was thought that the more blood after an extraction, the better the tooth puller. Ooh. So it is a blood connection, blood and bone, blood and teeth. Yeah, nice. I don't want to think about that too much. Teeth pulling. Daughter is too young to read the books. Have you looked at the Truckers series? Not Discworld, but the Truckers series. They are for much younger children. That's actually what got me started. Zephora. Shame no one's turned Mr. Pratchett's books into comics, graphic novels. There are, I'd say, the younger stories for, and that's the Truckers series, and Johnny and the Bomb. Johnny Saves Mankind. They're Pratchett ones for younger children. And there's, I think it's called A Witch's Vacuum, which is short stories. There are some outside of the Discworld ones, but they are for younger children, and they're all fantastic. But it is, I think it's about connection. It's about connecting to the energy where you are. It is about connecting to what your garden's doing, what the land around you is doing, what your local park is doing. It is about, even if you are like me in the city, it is about walking down the street and seeing all of the blossom and the trees, because even big cities have trees. So I think it is about that connection. But then I think that goes for anything, really, doesn't it? It is about different areas. I'm in England, Zephora's in New Zealand, but there will be similarities, even though the seasons are completely reversed. There will be similarities in those energies, but I think it has to work for you. It is. It is 10 to, yes. I'm watching the time because I have got an 10 o'clock, sorry, with the podcast. But yeah, it is about connecting with the energy of your area, because as well, I'm down south, someone that's up north of England, our gardens aren't going to be growing at anywhere near the same rate, because even in our tiny little country, there's going to be seasonal and weather differences and what nature's doing at the time. So it is about adapting the Sabbats. It is about adapting the wheel of the year. It is about connecting with what's happening in your area, and not just celebrating because the calendar says the 1st of May is Beltane, right? That's it, we've got to do Beltane. If it doesn't feel like it to you, if it doesn't feel like it in your area, wait until it does. The seasons are all a bit messed up anyway, as she says, thinking it's quite cold here today on 1st of May. Yeah, it's about doing what's right for your area and not just doing it because that's what the day on the calendar says. Mother Nature doesn't read the calendar. Sam got tooted at a red light this morning. I was watching a squirrel. Didn't notice the lights change. Yeah, that happens. It happens. Emma, got myself a new wheelchair and have been making plans to go outdoors more because agoraphobia takes up a lot of my mind. Determined to beat it. You go for it, Emma. Looking forward to going out more. I think as well, it is important you don't have to travel to a sacred place. You don't have to travel to the woods. You don't have to travel to fields or forests or whatever. It can just be your back garden. It can just be your local park. If you aren't mobile, it could just be opening your window and breathing in the fresh air and seeing and feeling that energy. It can be done just sitting at an open window. It's connection. Everything's connected. The whole web of weird is all connected. So it is about recognizing when it feels right for you and what you want to do with it. And don't beat yourself up if you didn't celebrate Beltane Eve last night or Walpurgis night or whatever your celebration might be. You know, life is busy. We're all caught up in this whole modern chaos that is the world. So it is about doing what's right for you. And it doesn't have to be that one day. You know, you've got the whole of May to celebrate this growth magic energy. So do what feels right for you. Definitely. Try Mort. It's one of the easiest to get to in the series. Yeah, that's a good one. Struggled with Colour of Magic and like Fantastic. Yes, don't read those first. Even Terry Pratchett said, don't read those first. Pratchett this world said, he changed my life too. He kept me going through some tricky times, Sam. I'm with you on that one. Absolutely. He sees the world, saw the world in a unusual way that resonated with me. Yeah, absolutely. So I'm gonna dash off a couple of minutes early. Don't judge me, because I've got to record the podcast. Do have a look at the Pagan Porter podcast. We have had some amazing people to chat with and some good ones coming up. Don't forget the Kitchen Witch online ritual at the weekend. Keep your eye out for the launch of the Kitchen Witch Emporium, which will be in a couple of weeks' time. And I have an apology to make. Not going to be here for the next 2 Wednesdays. I'm very sorry. There will be no live chat for the next 2 Wednesdays. We'll be back on, I think it's the 22nd, because I will be on a boat going down the River Rhine with lots of OABs. Or taking a break for a week so that I can unfry my brain. Sephora, the Kitchen Witch Emporium Facebook page is already live. It is up there. It is out there. So do give it a like. Yeah, it's there already. The Facebook page. The actual shop will go live probably sometime around the 17th of May. But yes, so apologies for not being here for the next 2 Wednesdays, but I will be back on the 22nd of May as usual. Don't worry about Eric. There are people here looking after him while we're away. The house will not be empty. There are people here looking after Eric. So yeah, don't worry about him. He's fine. So have a fabulous Beltane, May, Samhain, whatever you're celebrating. Have a good week, whatever you're doing. And I will catch you all again soon. Take care, everyone. Thank you, as always, for joining me.